Hey everybody, my name is Raw Sky and this is Kiko, and we do the Ups and Downs podcast. We talk about real stuff, the reality of being raw, and not always positive, but ups and downs. So we're going to talk about how to be a raw vegan and go to work. Hey Kiko.
Hey Sky, welcome back. Oh,
Thank you. It's so nice to see you. I'm so used to seeing you so often. And then like when I got traveling, it's been like a week seems like a long time.
I'm really grateful that you had time to do some podcasts while you were away in very intense trip in the US. But I have missed you, and I'm really happy that we're back.
We are, and hopefully there'll be parties soon and women's podcasts, and we'll be back on track with this as well. So
Yeah.
I love this topic because at the moment I know you are heavily involved with your work besides your raw vegan work. And I actually became a disability support worker when I first got well. So I was like you, out for big day trips, not just 9 to 5, from like 7 in the morning till sometimes 9 at night. So I thought
Wow.
this would be, yeah, like real when you do day trips and you can take, well, you do day trips. So sometimes,
Oh, I thought it was just in the office, people coming to you, but you would just go directly to their house to help?
yeah, so I would sometimes go to an outing. So like Luna Park or a zoo, or where else would
Wow.
we go? We would just do outings. So we might go to the beach, then the movies, then drive to the city for afternoon tea, like all day. And I was new to raw foods as well. So I thought,
Wow. Okay, I'm so
yeah,
excited. That's great. Oh,
yeah, so it's very different now. I'm at home. Like I am at home now, so I do my own thing. But I, as a newbie raw vegan, I had to really manage my food well. And I thought, what a great topic because that's what you're doing.
Oh my God, that's so exciting. Okay, yes. So, how do you want to get started?
Well, do you want to? Oh, I can start if you like, only because I
Yes.
started as a beginner.
Hmm.
And I think the thing is I went raw 4 years ago, and just I think it was about 5 or 6 months in, I became a disability support worker. So that meant that I was very often in, like you, in cafes, in restaurants, in hotels, and food is paid for us as well. But I had to remember, and everyone listening has to remember, is I could only work because of the raw foods. Like I now had my first job because of the raw foods. If I wanted to eat out and have wine and, we go to shows and eat all the food, is I would be back in bed and I couldn't be a support worker. I couldn't do my walks. At that time, it was walking. I couldn't be around my family. So I had to remember why I was doing it. Also, never in my mind did the payment of food I let apply to me. So although sometimes out they, or especially if I traveled to somewhere like Melbourne and they needed to pay for shopping, that's different. But my days, I would not leave my place without a homemade dressing, a homemade dip, some zucchini noodles. Because remember, this isn't raw, like where you just could skip a couple meals and have a smoothie. I'm brand new. I have to keep myself very fueled and with foods that I feel satisfied with at the start. So I would have, and I've showed you guys so many times before, a little cooler or an esky. We call an esky. It was chockers. It had extra avocados, extra bananas, extra dates, couple dips, because I wanted to stay raw. And I think it's like that's my mindset to this day is whenever I get invited somewhere or I travel, will it sacrifice me being raw? Because if it sacrifices me being raw, it sacrifices the self-love, and the self-love then means if I don't have that, I will be sick. So there were many different ways that I do it. But I mean, we can jump across to you now, Kiko, because I watch you daily with your wraps and your puddings and your fruits and your all sorts of things as you go on day trips.
Yes, but I have a question. Is it
Go
okay?
for it.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
so I actually didn't realize because I do remember, I've been following you for some time, and I remember you, sharing like pack of grapes, and I didn't realize that you were out for such a long period of time. But you were in your car driving around when you were out all day?
Sometimes I was in other people's cars, but even if I was a lot of the time with my car or buses or public transport, but let's say majority of the time I still had my car. But so like an average day could be you go to the person's home and you're indoors caring for them for say a couple of hours, helping them get ready for their outing, and then we'd go to the outing. So once again, I'd leave my car, or we'd get on the bus or transport, or someone would pick us up, and then do an outing, and then we might come back and I might have a second client, or the same client might want me to help them bath and shower and make their dinner. So I was making, a lot of them ate meat, and I actually drew the line as a vegan in cooking the meat. I said I would, as a support worker, if they chose to eat the meat, they could cook it and I would stand and support them. But I would never actually make the meat as a vegan. That was like my line. And then maybe I get home at night. So, yeah. So the car was there, but not fully accessible at all times.
That's amazing. I've got like millions of questions already.
Oh, go. I ask away.
Oh my God. Okay. So because at that time, if I remember correctly, you were mostly on the fruit side and, right? It was like you needed a bigger volume of eating.
So when I first started, I was 6 months in. So it was still when people went out for lunch and I knew the restaurants these clients were going to, is like there was a Thai restaurant I regularly went to. And I'd say, can I have all your vegetables non-steamed in the plate? And I would bring an avocado. But leading up to that, I'd probably have 2 avocados and bananas and dates. I ate a lot back then. Afterwards, continue to eat apples or grapes or veggies, and then come home. And usually my night dinner, even if I went out and did support work at night, I would have that luxury of having it home. If I couldn't eat the food at the restaurant, I would pre-make a salad like type or dressing type thing. Once I got into the fruits, yes, there was a bigger volume of just grapes and tomatoes and dates. There's actually a reel I can bring up and show you if I can find it, of the extraordinary amount of food I used to take with me on like a day where we went to a show and then dinner at night, like large amounts of food.
I mean, it gets quite heavy. So I was thinking, like, you were able to do it. I mean, even though most of the time you go to someone's house and you go to a restaurant and get some veggies, but like public transportation, I decided not to take any work on with public transportation. I had it just recently, and it gets really heavy, and I don't need to stretch myself that far to survive. So yeah, I am now finding my comfort zone. Like we need to find the balance and be able to say okay no for this. Like I love what you mentioned about meat, right? Like I don't feel comfortable. I'm okay cooking vegan food, but
Yep.
touching meat is I mean I would not be able to do it, and that's like some people might feel uncomfortable saying no and just do it.
Yeah, look, isn't it interesting? At the start, I've tried to start my life so many times. And it starts from a lot of anxiety because you're trying to catch up or feel normal. So you want to take on as many shifts as you can to get money, to live your life and feel normal. So now, even with what I do at home, is I'm very comfortable in saying no. But back then, there's times, every time I start my life, it comes with a lot of anxiety. So no matter how long I have to go, I have this tendency to say yes, even if I have to carry a lot of food. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean,
Oh,
those.
sorry. I was going to also say the vegan side of it is I was more comfortable in not taking a shift if I had to touch a dead animal, which is very interesting, right? Is I was willing to push myself a little further, but I would never compromise going in, buying meat, chopping meat up. If the person could not do that themselves, I was not on shift. But no matter what I had to carry, how long I had to be out, I would do it because I wanted my life so badly. So now I wouldn't, but yeah, it's good. Like it's better to be at a stage where like you have your limits, but I still had lots to learn back then.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That journey is, we all have to learn on our own. So that's great. I love hearing that. So for me, I have um I have my set my usual go-to before going to before leaving for work. I usually have a big green smoothies. This is just leftover. I just added water.
Yep.
Uh, and I add a lot of chia seeds. I'm now up to 4 tablespoons. Remember, 3 tablespoons were like, making me feel so bloated. And now I'm used to it. I have, yeah, about 4 to 5 tablespoons of chia seeds in my green smoothies. And then during the day, I add chia seeds and flax seeds all over my what I eat. So yeah, I try to get that before. Sometime I I'm not hungry enough, so I would bring a huge smoothies like this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I would have it in 2 different container. One I might freeze it so I can sip it during the day. Um, and I also have this chia berry parfait, which is in my book. Right, so basically it's chia seeds, dates, cacao, or um, what was the substitute of cacao powder?
Carrot.
Carob powder. Yeah, sometimes I do
Yep.
carob powder. But recently, what I have been doing is adding greens like frozen broccoli, which actually you don't taste the broccoli when you add it in that.
Interesting.
It's so good. Like my husband, like he's not someone who gets excited about greens. So about when I make this chia very perfect that he loves, I just sneak in and he never complains. Like he doesn't even notice.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't like raw broccoli. I usually just freeze it and add it in somewhere. So that's what I would do in my cherry parfait. Sometimes I would add even kale, and like there's no taste of kale. Um, and what I do is I keep on adding water so I can just drink it while I'm on the go.
That's
Sometimes
a good
my
idea.
client, yeah, like most of them, they just want to take a full advantage of the, whole day guide like me. So they don't want to waste time going to a restaurant and they'll just have a sandwich. Like for them, sandwich is like they finish in like 5 minutes. Like it's horrible. It's like 5 minutes. Like I cannot finish my wrap. Like hand wrap that I love making is based on Lisa's raw food ramens. I make my own wraps now, but the base was from raw food ramens, Lisa's hand wrap. But that I need at least 20 minutes to finish. So,
Do you get a
um,
lunch break? Do you like, so that's really strange. In Australia, like, I can work 12 hours, but there's a massive break given to me. For every, I think, 3 to 4 hours, legally, I have half an hour. Now, that to me, and I have a limit. I had a limit there. Like, it's the company that I worked for's problem. If the client needs even that half an hour covered, they will have to bring a nurse in or another carer in. I will not compromise not having raw food, especially 6 months in. So you don't have laws in Japan that
yeah,
cover
yeah,
you.
so we do. My contract is different because I work as a full freelance. So if you work as a full time or even like part time, you this kind of freelance work as an interpreter. No, interpreter you would get the break, but like a whole day tour. Yeah, I actually recently had a client who didn't want any break. So it's one retired couple, those people, they have a huge breakfast and huge dinner. So they're not hungry during the day. And, this recent couple, they would buy a coffee and one coffee they would share between the couple. So,
Wow. You know, I'm so sorry. I would have to say I can do your 10 hours or 8 hours, but 4 hours in, I get half an hour break. Like I would put that in my contract because they're not getting the best version of me if I go 8 hours. Like they're
right,
not
yeah.
getting, my brain would not be working. I would not, that's just me. I like, yeah, I could not do that.
Yeah, I have to adjust on this. Like I said, I have been doing this job for this kind of work for some time, but this year has been a very intense year. So I'm just,
Sure.
trying to see what works. So I told my agent that I need 45-minute minimum.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
and like I could dine with my clients if they're nice enough to let me eat. But this last
Sure.
client, they kept on asking, like, what is the history on where are we going, Kiko? Oh, it's like, I'm like, I cannot even chew. Like if you are, it's like, so it's very rare, but I do get those clients. So I have to set my limit.
Yeah.
And I told one clients that they for certain clients, not every clients, they would need to leave me alone for 45 minutes because I
Yeah.
mean, my mind would not work. So it's a
Yeah,
good
that's
reminder.
kind of what I had to do. It only
Yeah,
because of the work that we do. When I'm with somebody, it can be quite intense, like you, and I never compromised that part of it. As in, like I would always step away and then come back in my 40 minutes, just like when you're at school and you have that little lunch break and it's my
yeah.
time, and then I come back.
Yeah, this is a good reminder because I have new clients coming up from tomorrow for 4 days, like a full days consecutively for next. So I'm gonna call my agent to double check on that part.
Good,
But
good, good, good.
yeah, Japanese people. Okay, I just one more thing.
Sure.
Australians, Americans, like Anglo-Saxons in general, you guys are really good at, getting your rights,
Taking a
getting.
break.
I mean,
We're
I'm just
good at just going, bye, it's lunchtime. I know what you're saying.
yeah, but so I mean, it should be something normal, but they feel, especially Asians in general, and especially Japanese in general, they're very they feel very uncomfortable saying no. They want to do 120%, but it again, when we do that, we burn ourselves, and it's just the client
Yeah.
is not getting the best version of us.
That's what I had to learn. Yeah, that lesson that I'm actually a better support worker and coach because I take the 40 minutes, and that's hard. I get that, and for your culture that's even harder.
Right. But having said that, I live in Kyoto, which is a very beautiful, historical, uh, you know, beautiful culture. And most of the places that we go to is beautiful Zen garden, temples, so it's very tranquil. It's not always on the go, go, go. So depends. Like sometimes clients want to just sit on a Zen garden and contemplate for half an hour, and then that. So there has to be some balance in all
Yeah.
work. So having said that, certain time I don't get enough time to sit and eat. I always bring my hand wrap, but I've been for depending a lot on the green smoothies. And as it's so hot here, I would freeze it the night before, and I'll just sip during the
Good idea.
tour. Yeah. What else? I always try to have enough extra. And I also wanted to share that the other day, because I had a very demanding customer, and they didn't leave any time to eat. I was thinking maybe I should learn how to order in a restaurant.
Mm.
So I go into a restaurant with my client. and I'm completely open-minded for cooked food, right? I open the menu and I go like, from the far left all the way to far right. It is not a single thing I want to bring into my body. They didn't even have like a sparkling water. All they had was coffee, black tea, alcohol, and the sweets and stuff that's all not vegan. So even though it does take a lot more time to prepare, it's a commitment for sure. It's just, I just don't have anything I want to eat.
Yeah. And I think that's the reality I faced every morning when I got up is, yeah, maybe there's a place with a salad, and a couple of clients would go to restaurants that had a places, but I don't want the diseases that people eating the food in the restaurants give. I think we have to remember that. Like when we look at it and we're like, oh, I wish I could do that, you're actually wishing for the diseases that average people get and get earlier, and remind yourself why you do it. And I think that's the body. Like when you look at it and you're feeling repulsed, it's the body at that higher vibrational level knowing that those foods do not serve you. I've got the reel here of just some of the foods I used to take, so I thought I'd put it on the stage for you
Great.
guys.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find, oh, where's the page gone? Is it here?
How long ago was this?
This is 2 years ago now. Where is the, here's the page that's shared. So let me turn the volume. So melon, I'm going to cut up and take some honeydew melon. I've got strawberries. I've got blueberries. I want to take something salty to snack on, so I've got some baby tomatoes. I also like to take some dates in my handbag and a couple apples to snack on as well. Let's pack what I eat at work as a raw vegan. So let me pull this.
Oh my God, that's a very water-rich.
Let me just close this. The volume's coming from everywhere here. Okay. So as you can see, that's a lot of food.
Yeah.
And I had that big handbag and the cooler, but I didn't know any different. And that was a full day. I remember that day is like get the client up, get them ready, and then we drove into a show. I think it was like a 4-hour show. A lot of the clients were just used to me snacking as well.
Okay, you didn't have veggies.
Like, no, that's fruit.
Yeah, it was just you didn't have like green.
I did no greens. Oh, so you know that's how I think I ended up so sick. Is most of when I did all fruit, only fruit. So if I wanted salad, it was tomato, cucumber, dates. No, sorry, not dates. Cucumber, zucchini, or avocado. But that was a little bit of avocado and remember, I ended up with the high blood sugar and the low iron and the low sodium. I hadn't had any salt. Now and then to compensate, I basically lived off green juice for a year and a half, and then at night green salad and a little bit of salt. So
what a difference.
That was also, that was so back when I did, like when you were asking about like, you did a lot of volume with fruit, like I did a lot.
Yeah. Do you want to open up my Instagram so maybe they can see? Sure. I mean, anyone who wants to see what I eat, I always share on my story. But I recently shared the reel what I brought for my all-day outing. So it was the last. Let's see. 2 days ago, I have posted my lunchbox today.
I see it. Okay, so what I'll do is bring that up, take the volume off.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it. I think the volume is not there. Huh?
Two types of sauce. This is sort of like mustard French dressing. I added chia seed powder, mustard, dates, and different kind of herbs. And then this is homemade yogurt with, again, I added a lot of chia seeds that makes it like a pudding texture with paprika powder. I didn't mix it well. Salt and salt, paprika, turmeric, black pepper, chia seeds, and homemade yogurt. That's one of my favorites dressing. And then I have the purple red cabbage and red onions, sprouted buckwheat. I made myself different kind of sprouts, baby leaves, and then I made okonomiyaki, which is the raw vegan version of okonomiyaki. It's smashed in there. It's basically chickpea, hakusai, which is a Japanese veggies, and walnuts. And yeah, I made a YouTube video on this, so you can take a look. So that's my lunch. It's quite filling. It's all raw vegan.
So aside from that, I have also brought big green smoothies, and yeah, always with like a dates based cherry parfait, which I add some greens in it, and that keeps me for a whole day. I have no attempt, and yeah, honestly, a lot of people, like my friends who I went out with, she's health conscious as well from LA. But she says that, Kiko, I really admire you being so dedicated to your health. And I'm thinking, like, I don't know how else. Like, I would not have this energy. And, like, my humor is, like, I would be a different person if I don't eat this way. So, like, I don't mind spending extra 2 hours or even 3 hours every day to get what I have now.
Also, I love it. So being raw, and whether it's exercise, whether it's shopping, whether it's creating food, like because I eat the raw foods, I love my life. Like I don't dread it. I love actually making the food. And I think you do what works. But what I noticed about taking raw food out into the community, we call it taking it out into the communities, everyone around me seems very fascinated by it. So I was the raw vegan. So whenever anybody chose to have me as their support worker, is they got me with a bag of food. They didn't know any different. They didn't really mind. They knew I was healthy because of it. And I mean, they've all got their health challenges. So I guess it is a cultural difference. A friend of mine who you probably know, Heidi, did like raw foods in her 20s. And she said she used to have at her office desk just a bag of veggies. Why is this not going? There we go. A bag of veggie. I feel like maybe I'm on the wrong camera. I'll fix that in a second. A bag of veggies at her desk, just munching at them all day because that's what made her feel good. She said people did say things to her, like, you're eating a lot, but she didn't mind. She said it made me feel good back when she did it then. And it's about, I think, feeling comfortable. I don't know if it's in your case, but in any person's case, is there a possibility you can have a bit of a snack as you're walking around or as you're at your desk or as I don't know how many people do shift work. If you get breaks, like you're going to want to eat. Because I think it's so important to remember, as you said, is you probably wouldn't enjoy doing your work. You wouldn't have the energy that these people lack if you were just eating low vibrational food, which made you not feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think we have to also know that what's being out there in the restaurant, or what most people eat in developed countries are just mostly junk. And I hate to say that, but I have to say it because when I see people eating what they're eating, it's because it became so common. Like it's such a mainstream to eat highly processed food with bunch of ingredients like we have no idea what it is. corn syrup everywhere, and like highly processed thing that we don't know what it is. And yeah, if I a lot of people are depressed and feeling really bad every day, and that's like a norm now, and I just cannot go back. Like for me, yeah, I just, this is life for me, and I'm okay to stand out and look weird.
Yeah, and I think we have to remember not to take on what those properties around us, because we were once those people and we weren't bad people. And I don't think the people eating that are bad people. It's that it's just the part of their journey they're on. And I just choose to see them. So I don't really see the food as much as like that they're eating as much as I do the architecture, the fact that I've got my food, the fact that they're usually very interested in why I'm eating so completely different to everybody else, because it is so easy for us to become, if you start seeing negative, we become that. And it happens so subtly without us even knowing. So that's why when I started to go out, I did create, it was very important for me to feel like I could have a raw vegan lifestyle. It's very different to say to somebody, for 3 months, you're just eating fruit. People can push through 6 months, possibly a year. But how do you feel to do it basically forever? And a huge part of that for me, and if anyone's seen my website, I hang on, let me just bring it up here. I created a part of it where, here we go. I keep losing, I've got too many windows open here. That's not it. Here we go. This where basically what I chose to do whenever somebody, because I wanted to meet up with all these friends that I hadn't seen in years that wanted to go out, and they'd been in COVID. So they're like, we want to go out, we want to eat. I'm like, well, how do I navigate this? And so I created salads off either food they were about to cook, or most restaurants in Australia have a garden salad. You don't go to a restaurant in Australia without a garden salad. Or if it's a Thai restaurant, they have steamed vegetables. So I say don't cook the vegetables and put them on a plate. So like this example here, the noodle hut at Miranda, I went to often. This is just steamed vegetable. If you can see this, I don't know how well you can see this. Steamed vegetables. Can you hold the steam? I saw they had chili, add chili, and I would bring an avocado. And a lot of these restaurants, there was like I made a blueprint, and you guys can go to my website and use this blueprint if it's something you want to do. I use it still, especially for Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays. Basically, especially at the start, I would call a restaurant ahead of time and announce that I was a raw vegan. No, I wouldn't say raw vegan. I would say high allergy, because raw vegan, they still put stuff on top of it. I think because chefs are so used to putting oil and salt, I would say I'm high allergy. And I would also say, look, I've looked at your menu here and you have a seasonal side salad. I will be getting one of those. And do you mind if I add the pomegranates, the tomato, the Spanish onion, and the chili with it? And do you have an avocado? And that was just my rote way of doing it, especially at the start, because I would feel so much anxiety being in restaurants and social situations, being so different. And remember, I'd been in a bed most of my life, so being social was all new to me as well. And if they didn't have avocado, I would bring one. I didn't do nuts and seeds at this period, but now I would bring a handful of cashews or whatever. But you guys can go, I've written up what I did and examples of different menus, how I dissect them, and just find a whole lot of cooked recipes, or a whole lot of cooked foods that I just said, don't cook it. Like there'd be cooked, tomato basil sauce on something, and I'd say, can I just have the tomato and basil? Or steamed veggies, can I just have the veggies? Because there's no use worrying about what everyone else is doing, because we just start to feel really negative. You have to go and find those little narrow bits of light on menus, or even sometimes they have at the end a fruit platter in the desserts. And if I didn't, I was never going to focus on it, because I realized it was the difference of me eating raw foods was literally the reason I could be in these restaurants. So I just had to accept it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to know where you're going. And places like Sydney or LA or even New York or Florida, these kind of places, you can get a big garden salad. So you have, if you can negotiate with the servers, and you bring your own dressing, you can do it. I can easily get by with that. But here in Japan, if you order a salad here, most of the restaurant would give you in a tiny plate the salad.
Sure.
Yeah, salad is so small. So I've just learned that I just have to bring my own, like the YouTube, not the YouTube, the Instagram post that I've shared with you. You have helped me share now. It's I just ate at my I just ate with my friend who was visiting from LA, San Francisco, and
I
Sky is
can't
like,
get the camera right. I don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm moving. It's over here. Let me just there. Okay, I'm there.
okay. So yeah. Anyway, I brought my whole meal, and we found a restaurant, and I spoke to the server if it's okay. I just always say I'm highly allergic to
Yeah.
foods, and I'm with my friend who needs me to be with her. And this is what I usually say with my clients as well. Like, I can leave my clients and I'll be happy to just eat in a private, we have a private chauffeur, so I could eat it in a car. But usually my clients need my help on translation. So I just speak to the restaurant manager to say, I can leave the clients, but if you guys are comfortable speaking in English with them, I can leave. But if not, would you mind that I bring my lunchbox because I don't have anything I could eat. I'm highly allergic, which is not,
Sure.
it's not a lie. If I
Yeah,
eat something,
it's not technically, it's not a lie. Like both of us would be quite sick if we ate the food in the restaurant. So yeah, I think that's what you have to do. You have to be all of these things as will build confidence in us. Like
Mhm.
if you follow the crowd, you really live the rest of your life at a whim. You don't realize how much you're just floating along with what the vibration of most people is doing. When you raise your vibration and you say no, or I want to be different every single day, you get really confident at being different. And that takes you new places that other people aren't going. So when people look at like someone like my life or your life, and my life as a whole is very different to other people's, and you want to do things, it's all an accumulation of making choices, not based on what people around me are doing anymore. So much of my life, and we're very conditioned to do this, right? From school, is
Mhm.
even when you're younger, you feel better eating very similar to what your friends are eating. If they're having a certain sandwich, you want your mum to make that certain sandwich. If they want to go play on those certain swing, you want to play on that certain swing. You don't realize the power a person holds until you say, I don't want to do that, society. I don't want to do that, society. And then all of a sudden, society is going, well, why is she flying over to New York, filming YouTube and, having the time of her life? Because I started to say no and I don't accept what most people are doing. Otherwise, I would just be still doing, going to doctors and going to this person, trying this thing I'm sold on the computer, and you just float along. So it's like you're also building yourself by making choices that feel right to you.
Yeah, and you'll be surprised. Like, most people don't even remember, like, I used to feel really bad saying, I don't want to, like, this friend who was visiting Japan, and, I want her to feel comfortable and go to a restaurant wherever she wants to go. And, I don't want to inconvenience anyone for sure, right? But it's important to choose the right friend at the same time as well, because there are some people who would not tolerate. But my friend was, we've known each other for over 20 years, 25 years now, and she likes what I eat, and um, even if though she might not like it, she would not remember it. Like, most people just don't remember these kind of things.
Mm.
Like, and why would you sacrifice so much to please others while most people just don't remember?
Yeah, and I mean, how much more of inconvenience is it when you're suffering with those tumors,
Mm-hmm.
on your reproductive organs, and someone has
Mm-hmm.
to watch you in pain? We have to remember that, like, when I'm at a table and I'm eating a salad, it's much more of a less inconvenience than if I'm in bed and they're having a whole conversation on carers I need and new surgeries I need. And we are like, we think it's like, we think it's better to fit in, but really it's better to stand out and just lead. Like what I found myself doing when I started to first go out is I was now a leader because no one around me was doing it. Someone had to do it. And that's like when people are like, oh, I can't go raw because my whole family can't go raw. Well, your family needs a leader and someone has to start, and you can't force them day in and day out to do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
They can watch you and watch you grow into the leader that you're meant to be. But Barbara said down here, what about sushi? But I mean, sushi's got rice in it and probably other things that you don't want to have. You do mean, Barb, just regular sushi, right?
Yeah. So recently I had a client, one lady, she was pregnant, and the travel agent warned me quite a few times, saying that be careful with this lady. We cannot, she cannot eat sushi. Why can sushi, like a raw fish, right? Why she cannot eat raw fish? Because that there's a bacteria in it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and then anyway, it's I mean, you get the idea. Like sushi, vegan sushi. There's white rice. So for me, I know how to prepare my meal, so I'm
Yeah.
happy to eat my food. And when I go to, so what, as long as I come back home, I can prepare all those meals. Veggie sushi. If it's like a raw veggie sushi, I would eat it. But who would serve? Only
But
Kiko's
can
Cafe.
they do that? Like, I feel like, so I'm actually thinking here. So we have like sushi train restaurants or sushi restaurants in Australia, and they're constantly making fresh sushi. So all in the middle of the train, and they're constantly making.
Mhm.
I don't think it's a far stretch to say, can you put, because you can get little salads with salmon, and I think veggie salads too. Can you put your veggies in nori, or even can I grab a couple salads and some of your nori sheets? I never thought of that actually, if that's what you mean, Barb. Is that possible to do in Japan? I can feel that would be possible in Sydney.
Not in Japan. I'm sure you can do it in LA and California. It's a whole different thing. There's MSGs in everywhere. And yeah, I'm sorry, but I know what's going on behind. I don't want to discourage. Like we do want to share, you know, time
But just
together.
the greens, like
Sorry?
like if they have just, I'm not talking about, do they put MSG on your greens?
They put MSGs on the sauce. They always come with some
Oh,
kind of
not
sauce.
sauce. Not sauce. Like just say, can I have a couple of the salad bowls with a couple nori sheets is what I would ask for.
I
And then
don't.
just to it's just to feel included. Like usually in our Japanese restaurants, we have tiny little salads, and I would probably grab two and say, can I have some nori sheets? I would still bring my own food, but sometimes I do a little bit of a restaurant salad with my own food or grab a little one to just feel more included. It's not actually to feel full, it's just to be part of the experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, I don't like to touch salad here in Japan because they usually come
Okay.
with like canned corn, or they would add something that sometimes they would add even like a bacon, and it's just like pre-made. So when I won't go to restaurant, I just look for herb tea or like a 100% juice or something like that, so that I contribute a little bit to the restaurant and the space that I'm using.
Mhm.
Or my friend might order extra to eat.
Mm. Yeah, so the only time I don't actually think of me getting great benefits from a salad from a restaurant, even in Australia, even in New York, no matter where you go.
Mm.
But I know my body's strong enough to have it and to feel the experience. So I feel like at the start, when I did a lot of fruit and I got rid of a lot of things, I was in my letting go phase. And somebody here was saying, Dr. Mawson doing grapes for 5 days, that's about giving your body a rest and letting go. But for me to live in this world, I have to accept that nothing is perfect. And I don't choose to order like 5 salads to fill me up, but I choose to have an experience on Mother's Day or Father's Day. Even the restaurants that do lots of multiple raw dishes for me. It's probably covered in stuff, but my body's strong enough and I choose to have it because I want the experience. And that's something I personally had to accept just because of where the planet is. Like, sure, I'd love to be on Thailand eating tropical fruit on a beach all day, maybe sleep in a tent and feel that energetic, but that's not where I am. And I do like to feel the experience. So I try not to see any negative. I only see the positive. If I get sick, I was always going to get sick because that's what I need to do for my mental health. Otherwise, I think it can be really hard mentally for a lot of people to understand that they're constantly different. And for me, it was little bits of things like that is an idea that if I go to a Japanese shop, I'll probably bring my own avocado, just a little one of their salads and their nori. Is it going to give me the benefits of my produce? No, but it helps me mentally. And that to me, even if I got an upset stomach and I have at a restaurant before, it doesn't deter me from going back and doing the same thing because I want to feel mentally normal. And I think they're two separate things. Feeling mentally connected to the world when we are very different versus, okay, I want the best greens. I only want the best greens and I have to accept that for me.
I totally agree what you mean. So
Yeah.
I have been in the restaurants quite a few times, and as I mentioned, I mostly just bring my own. And I have been actually invited to actually next week. I have been invited to Shojin Ryori, which is the vegan Buddhist monks meal.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm uh, so on that meal it's lunch, very light lunch, and it will be cooked, mostly cooked, and I have accepted that. And basically it's the meal is prepared by monk, no killing, so it's all vegan, and that's where I usually go. That's a go-to for me as high raw. i haven't been
Sure.
I haven't had any like full meal cooked meals since January this year, but I'm slowly including some of the cooked foods, like, I'm thinking quinoa or like enzyme activated rice. I might have mentioned to you last year.
Yeah,
I have
I've heard.
that. Yeah. So those I can digest well as long as I'm very active with a lot of green veggies. I feel excellent. So
Yeah. I love that. I think you on this journey, even if that's not where you're at right now, and you would know that, Kiko, doing 20 years, and that's probably why you're high raw, is your mental health can make you acidic. If you constantly, it's like, I can't have that, I can't have that. And then you've ended up on just grapes and watermelon for years, or for me, it was months. And then you can't digest anything else and you become scared of the world and you wonder, did I make myself sick from fear? Or was it the watermelon and grapes? So that's why
yeah.
and this is just where I am at and where I found peace is feeling a little bit included helps me. And it's not that I look at these dishes like, even going to raw vegan restaurants, it's not that I look at them as much as a huge part of being a raw foodist is the fact that each day you're pulling in nutrients in high abundance that you're called to. Being a raw restaurant, and Jillian and I like loving wild living foods, though we did not feel bad the next day, it's not the same as being in your own kitchen. Like it's still a treat, right? And you don't feel as optimal, you feel a bit slower because you go and it's novelty, right? But it's about you. I think don't ever let yourself feel so isolated and so fearful that you mentally can't cope anymore with being a raw foodist, because there's so many reasons we stop, right?
That's so true. Yeah, there's a fine line, and everyone has to go through the journey to find where the limit is. Because it's true in one way that, because we both had that foundation of doing raw vegan diet, and what works, what certain raw vegan diet works and not. We have done that already. So with that base, we know how to step out of our comfort zone. Like, you might have done like eat out in more heavier raw vegan dishes, and you know your limit, and you know how to get back to your normal self.
Yeah. And so even the reverse on that is when I go out for lunches. So for a Father's Day or Mother's Day, we're talking about I order the side salad. And I mean, I think I've nailed it now when I go to restaurants here in Sydney. I'll bring an avocado and some cashews, right? I wouldn't usually put avocado and cashews on such a small salad, but I may do it for Mother's Day or Father's Day. And then I notice when I come home, that will be a very small meal. I will make myself one of my favorite recipes. Oh, I think I've lost Kiko. You back? Um, I will have one of my favorite recipes to help me cope mentally. And there's a ton of nutrition in it. It'll be the one I'm called to most, but I think it's really important to mentally do that for myself. I've shared about how I come home and I put my favorite loungewear, have a shower, put my favorite loungewear on, light a candle, spend time on myself in the kitchen and thoroughly enjoy a meal because I've been around people, the ones I love the most, while they're enjoying a meal. I'm just like, people look at my salads now and they're like, oh my God, that does look good with the cashews and the avocado. And I'm like, yeah, it won't be a ton of it and it'll be small, but I'm like, I'm not satisfied. They're all like they're having not just 3 courses, they'll have bread as well. And here's me with this little side salad. And so I think that's really important to find ways for you to cope. And truthfully, if I was still working, a huge part was that most nights I could still make my nightly dish. Like, even if I had to go out to another client, I did not, usually mine were mornings into late afternoons situations. So find a way to look after you guys and enjoy still being mentally healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That you said it perfectly. I let me say, well, I will see, like, as we are approaching winter, I will update. I will be open on what I would be eating, but my plan is to start including living foods. I think living food as enzyme active rice.
Sure.
Yeah, that probably is very easy for me to travel because 1 week, 5 nights actually being away from home, that might save me. And I actually bought Ninja, the
Oh, the creamy.
no, not that one. It's just a smaller version of Vitamix.
Oh, yeah. I've got one of those.
When I go to hotels, then I can just go to grocery shopping around and like having green smoothies, that would help a lot throughout the day. Even if I were to eat some cooked food, starting my morning with green smoothie would keep me in a good mood.
Yeah. And this is true, is a lot of raw vegans do bring their own dressings and salads, dressing and order a salad. And I've done that multiple times. That's kind of what I do, or a crushed up mix of like nuts, seeds, some dehydrated crackers and some salt, and I'll just sprinkle it on top with some lemon juice and avocado. And that's all fine too. I think we're just sharing different things that we've done in different ways to just cope. And I think that's a great one. But also afterwards, when you come home and make your favorite meal. And in winter I do a lot more dehydrated. When I say dehydrated, is my favorite way of dehydrating is just marinating veggies. But in winter I need that density. Like in summer and spring, now it's warm, I barely think about food. I think maybe being 4 or 5 years in, it's not huge for me. But coming off a lot of like the medications and drinking, and you really cling on to food at the start. You really learn what your body likes, and the cycle I mean is you can do more fruits and greens in spring, summer, but as soon as autumn starts to change, I want to be inside. I want to be cozy. I want to do like my 3-ingredient bread with a salad. I want some density at least, like all marinated veggies on top of the salad. And that could just be conditioning that I've done that most of my life, but it works for me.
Yeah, be grateful that you can just go out with your dressing, because you would not be able to do this. I mean, the salad is definitely not an option here in Japan. So I would go to grocery shopping and just like, what you were saying, I would just order something so that I can be part of that,
Yeah.
old friend, just share your memory.
Yes. But also, yeah, see where a local supermarket is and grab some greens, but can you ask for vegetables that aren't steamed? Like, do they have, like, or like in Australia, a lot of Asian restaurants have multiple vegetarian dishes that have maybe tofu in it. And I just say, allergic to tofu, can you bring the veggies out non-cooked? And if it comes with a sauce, I say, put the sauce on the side. Is that an option?
It will be very complicated because here in Japan, they don't like to change something. Like it's a set thing.
Oh, that's like that in Australia, but like,
Is it?
well, in Japanese restaurants, you get Japanese people. In Chinese restaurants, you get Chinese people. So you get exactly how they like things. But any chef you ask to change, they're kind of like, really? And you're like, well, I have this allergy. And then they don't seem to mind. I'm just thinking of different ways. You don't have to eat their food. But sometimes, you bring your own salad, you bring your own dressing, and ordering a side of veggies, it just makes you feel a little included. Like, because you're eating something from, and it's definitely not that you're getting like a ton of nutrition or it's even what you wanted. But I don't know, I even have fun with it, sprinkle some nuts over it, put a dressing over it, have some of my salad, and I just feel like I'm a little bit more I do feel more part of it when I have a salad from them. So when I bring in a container and I sit down in my container, it's my food, I always feel more included if I just even order their salad, throw some of my stuff on top, and it's just for like that moment. And yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to sound negative, but I have tried it, and there are so many things. Even though I try to be very clear, there might be some non-vegan thing thrown in the salad, and I don't. That might be more stressful for restaurants
Oh,
and people around me. Oh, I didn't. Why is pork on my salad? It's like
that's a
it's just that
shame.
it's because for them it's part of their life, so they don't even think that they might think pork is part of salad. So yeah, I find for me, if I know the restaurant really well, I would order, but and if not, the monk's meal, shojin
Yeah,
ryori that I mentioned, that's my go-to if I were that I know there's no animals involved, and it's a very light, like steamed veggies, so
sure.
and not much oil, like there's not much I don't even know if they would do deep fried, mostly very lightly cooked veggies.
Sure. Well, I hope everyone listening has got some ideas. I know you guys watching may not work the same way we do, but the good thing about the examples that we gave is I gave it when I did disability work, and you as a translator, is these are long days. And we
Yeah.
both managed to do it, whether it was me lugging around like a handbag full of veggies and fruit plus another bag, you doing your like wraps and smoothies, is find a way to make it work, because for some of us, the only reason we can do the work is because of that food. And we don't want to start resenting the food, right? We want to love the food because the food is loving us.
Yeah, what's important is find, just take care of yourself first. And that might sound egoistic or selfish, but it's the most loving way, not just to yourself, but for others, because you would be in much better mood for others. So they would appreciate that.
100%, 100%. Okay, this was amazing.
I have one quick question, Sky,
Sure.
before you go. So that work you were doing, you're no longer doing it. How was it? Was it very challenging because you're meeting people, go to their house face to face?
So eventually, and if you haven't seen the interview with Gillian Berry, jump across. It's kind of like what happened with her with real estate. You get to this point with on the raw foods lifestyle where what isn't meant for you becomes so painful that it's blatantly obvious you shouldn't be doing it. And it might be the reason people are going back to harmful ways because they're not in alignment. So because I was so sick most of my life, I was essentially disabled before. And doing that work and taking people to doctors and physios and then leaving and then supporting a person while they fill their body with lollies, while they needed medication for things related to, issues with the food that they're eating. Just knowing what I know with food and watching what these people eat was almost soul destroying for me. And the amount of effort, like, of course they see what I do, but it was very hard. That part of it was very hard, and it got very loud that I wasn't supposed to do it. And you're writing out huge documents trying to help these people while their lifestyle isn't great, while I am constantly working on my own lifestyle. And so it was just such a jump with what a lot of the people I worked with ate versus what I ate. And I think that's why, and I got more into the health coaching, and that really felt in alignment. But it's really that reminder that this lifestyle will get rid of a lot of problems for you, but the problems will resurface if you don't sit in alignment with, good sleep, good meditation, good practices that make you constantly feel good, because you want to numb yourself. If what is not serving you, you'll not want to feel that feeling. And the way we've learned to deal with that is to drink, is to eat processed food, is to choose self-destructive habits instead of facing things. And like Jillian said, she just didn't enjoy going to work anymore. And there was something calling her, and she made that choice. And I feel like that's what happened to me, is that alignment. You don't want to come home from work and start putting other people down who think they're doing the best. And not that I really put them down. It just didn't feel the right way to put my energy in.
Yeah, that's clear. Okay, well, you're aligned with what you do, and that's fantastic. So thank you.
You're welcome. It was so good to see you, and thanks guys for joining. And I will be back on very soon with Tony, and we're going to talk about the retreat in Thailand.
Yay!
So come back. So come back for that, and you'll see Kiko and I next week.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks everyone for